When my daughter-in-law said ask for permission to eat, I revealed the life-changing contract. The aroma of roasted chicken filled the air, mingling with mashed potatoes and green beans, creating a cozy atmosphere. But tension simmered beneath the surface. Sarah felt it, thick enough to cut with a knife. Her son, Tyler, and his new wife, Emily, had just arrived for their weekly Sunday dinner, a tradition she cherished. Yet, tonight felt different. The laughter she lived for seemed frozen on the tip of her tongue. "Remember to ask permission to eat," Emily announced, her voice firm and unwavering. Sarah's heart sank. Was it really necessary? This wasn't a royal banquet, it was a family gathering, meant for warmth and connection, not rigid formality. Growing up, meals around her table were boisterous and filled with the sounds of joy, the clink of silverware, children's laughter, and stories shared late into the evening. "Emily," Sarah started, trying to keep her voice steady, "we don't really do things that way here." Her gaze slipped to Tyler, who sat quietly, caught in the middle. "Food is meant to be enjoyed, not formalized." The words hung in the air, heavy with the weight of unspoken frustration. Emily's eyes narrowed. "Table manners are important. It's about respect." Respect? The term sparked a fire in Sarah's chest, a mixture of indignation and sadness. She thought of her parents, of the love that infused every meal. How could Emily not see that? Between roasted chicken and unacknowledged tensions, old wounds began to fester. Voices escalated, cutting words and hurtful jabs turned their cozy dinner into a battlefield. The mashed potatoes sat untouched. As if in defiance, Sarah excused herself and retreated to her room, seeking solace. Alone in the stillness, she stumbled upon an old family contract written by her grandparents, a promise of love, support, and unity. She traced the faded ink, emotions whirling within her. This document symbolized everything she believed in. Perhaps it could bridge the gap between her cherished traditions and Emily's unyielding demand for formality? The thought sparked hope but also uncertainty. Would they understand its meaning? Or would it get tossed aside as just another artifact of the past? Before she knew it, dinner time approached again, a second chance shrouded in wild anticipation. Sarah's heart raced as she placed the contract on the table, the flickering candlelight casting shadows. She felt the air electric with tension as they all gathered. Emily, skeptical, sat opposite her, Tyler's anxious glance bouncing between them. Can this contract redefine our family dynamic? Or is it just going to dig a deeper rift? The question hung in the air, unanswered. She inhaled deeply, her chest tightening with vulnerability. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue." Courage surged through her as she looked at each of their faces. Could love, resilience, and tradition melt the cold barrier of misunderstanding? As she began to speak, Sarah felt the weight of the moment pushing against her resolve. Would the warmth from her family's past ignite a new understanding, or shatter amidst the clash of their worlds? The room was heavy with silence, the kind that seeped into the bones and stopped time. As the candle flickered, the shadows danced across their faces, almost as if they were waiting for a sign or perhaps a miracle. Sarah took a step forward, her hands trembling slightly as she gently pushed the contract closer to Emily. "Before this contract belonged to my grandparents, it held the essence of who we are as a family," she began, her voice steady but tinged with emotion. "It's a reminder of love and commitment. It's more than just a piece of paper. It's a call for understanding." Emily leaned forward, eyebrows drawn together. "But what does it mean, exactly? How can a contract with old promises fix what's broken now?" Tyler's silence was deafening, his eyes darting between the two women he loved most. The tension in the room seemed almost palpable as Sarah pressed on, her heart racing. Think of it as a fresh start, a chance to redefine how we interact. This isn't about adhering to old rules or new ones, but about finding what draws us together. We've lost that amidst our squabbles. Emily hesitated, her face softening just a fraction. So, you want us to create our own version of this? Exactly. Sarah's breath came quicker, hope flaring within. Let us join forces. We can carry forward the values of family, love, and respect on our terms. We can build a new tradition. Tyler, sensing the opportunity, leaned in. Emily, I know how much you value respect and manners. But we also have to embrace the warmth and laughter that comes with family. It doesn't have to conflict, right? Emily's face clouded with uncertainty. It just feels so unfamiliar. I've always been told how to behave, how to interact. It's hard to break away from that. You don't have to break away, it's about bending and flexing, Sarah soothed, desperate to appeal to Emily's heart. Life is blooming with chaos, and every meal doesn't have to feel like an assembly line of manners. Let us not miss the point of sharing a meal together. Slowly, Emily's body language shifted. The tightness in her shoulders began to ease, a glimmer of understanding playing across her face. So, if we signed this, she gestured to the contract, this would be the starting point? Yes. Sarah's pulse raced with excitement. Let us craft our own rules, a new contract that embodies the spirit of our family, one that celebrates who we are now, instead of who we used to be. The flicker of hope ignited in Tyler's eyes, and for the first time, it felt possible to bridge the gap. Let us put it all on the table. Literally and figuratively, he said, motioning to the untouched food. With a tentative smile, Emily nodded. I want to try. Can we write it together? The air shifted. A new direction beckoned, ripe with potential. But just as Sarah felt the warmth of a new beginning settling in, her phone buzzed loudly on the table. She glanced at it with a mix of annoyance and curiosity. A notification flashed across the screen, an unexpected message from her sister, a call for help. Sorry, I wait. Emily exclaimed. For the first time that night, the tension dissolved into something deeper. Would the looming family obligation distract from this fragile moment of connection? Standing at the brink of change, Sarah held her breath, unsure whether to answer her sister's call or stay immersed in this new journey. How would they navigate this crossroads together? The question lingered, promising a turning point that could either bind them or tear them apart. Sarah stared at her phone, the light from the screen illuminating her face in the dimly lit room. Her heart raced, torn between familial obligation and this newfound moment of hope. The urge to help her sister battled fiercely with her desire to forge a stronger bond with Emily. She could feel Tyler's eyes on her, a mix of concern and support radiating from him. Is everything okay? Emily's voice was delicate, tentative, as if she feared the answer. I don't know, Sarah admitted, lowering her gaze. The message was brief, just a plea for assistance. It sounded urgent, laced with the kind of worry that made her gut twist. It's my sister. She needs something. I think it might be important. Emily's expression shifted, a flicker of disappointment crossing her features. Important, like a family emergency? Kind of, but Sarah paused, weighing her words. Would answering this call feel like abandoning their moment? We were just starting to make progress, and I don't want to interrupt this. But you have to address it, Tyler interjected gently. This isn't just about the three of us. Family is more than just what happens in this room. It's all connected. Sarah exhaled slowly, her heart heavy with the weight of the decision. Emily was right, it wasn't just about their fragile pact. A family emergency required her attention. She took a breath, meeting Emily's gaze. I can step away for a moment and come right back. Can we pause? The disappointment in Emily's eyes was still visible, but accompanied now by understanding. Of course. I thought we had a moment here, a real one. As Sarah grasped her phone, she sensed how delicate everything was. We do. And I'll be back. I promise. She stood and walked toward the kitchen, the energy in the room shifting behind her. The dining table now looked like a battlefield of past wounds and future potentials, revealing how each moment held the promise for rebirth. Dialing the number, Sarah's heart beat harder. It rang, and with each sound, she felt the distance grow. The familiar voice on the other line shattered her thoughts. "Sarah. I'm so glad you picked up. I need your help." Panic thrummed through Sarah. "What is it?" "There has been a situation at Mom's house, a leak in the basement." "It's bad," her sister said in a rush, the urgency evident. "I tried fixing it, but it's worse than I thought." "Okay, can you come over?" "We could really use you," her sister pleaded, vulnerability creeping into her voice. Sarah swallowed hard. The invitation pulled at her. "I'll be there as soon as I can." After hanging up, uncertainty filled her as she walked back into the living room. Emily and Tyler exchanged questioning looks, and Sarah felt the sting of guilt prickle at her skin. "My sister needs me to help with a leak at our mom's place," she announced. Oh, Emily's expression softened, but the disappointment still lingered. "Is it serious?" "Yeah, it sounds like it is." Tyler stepped forward, a reassuring presence. "Hey, family comes first. You need to take care of this." The words felt heavy in the air, promising and daunting at once. Sarah absorbed the encouragement but still felt the arc of their budding connection wobble as she anticipated leaving. She held Emily's gaze, stronger than before, but still carrying a trace of hesitation. "I'll be back, I promise. Just don't take forever, okay?" Emily whispered, and her vulnerability tugged at Sarah. "I want tea." As she prepared to leave, a wave of emotional upheaval washed over her. The contract, their new beginning, felt both close and distant now. She stepped toward the door but paused, turning back to Emily and Tyler. "Let us make a date for when I get back. We can really dive into this," she suggested, desperate to maintain that fragile thread of connection. Eyes meeting hers, Tyler nodded, and Emily's tentative smile hinted at hope. "Absolutely," Tyler replied. With one last look, Sarah stepped outside, the weight of her decision lingering in the chilled air. But as she climbed into her car, her phone buzzed again. It was a message from Emily. "Don't forget, we were supposed to create whole new traditions. Come back ready to share more than just ideas." A smile formed on Sarah's lips, a warm reminder of their shared promise. Yet, as she drove, the nagging feeling of impending change tugged at her. What awaited her at home? Would the family crisis open a door to something unexpected, altering the course of their fragile new beginning? The question hovered, daunting and exhilarating. The drive felt longer than usual. Each stoplight felt like a small eternity, a reminder that time was slipping away. Sarah's mind raced as she navigated familiar streets, each one holding memories of her childhood, both joyful and painful. The thought of the water leak felt trivial compared to the flood of emotions rising within her. She pulled up to her mother's house, the old place standing weary yet familiar. Its paint was peeling, a testament to years of neglect, as if it, too, was a reflection of their family's disarray. Taking a deep breath, she stepped out of the car and felt the cool air fill her lungs, grounding her. As she walked up to the front door, her heart beat a little faster, not just from anxiety but anticipation. This was a family moment, a chance to reconnect or further divide. With one last glance back at her car, she knocked, the sound echoing in the stillness. Her sister appeared almost instantly, her face etched with worry. "Thank God you're here," she breathed. "I tried to stem the leak, but I can't do this alone." The urgency clung to her words, stirring a mix of familial love and obligation within Sarah. "All right, show me," Sarah said, following her sister to the basement. The stairs creaked underfoot, each step resonating with echoes of their childhood. Memories flooded her mind, playing down here, hiding from the world above, feeling invincible. Those days felt so far away now. The basement revealed itself in disarray. Water pooled alarmingly in one corner, the remnants of an old flood still visible as the floor soaked up its new adversary. Pipes glistened, and tools were scattered haphazardly around simple objects that suddenly felt daunting. "Why didn't you call a plumber?" Sarah asked, kneeling beside the leak, inspecting it closely. "I didn't want to worry you," her sister replied, biting her lip. "I thought I could handle it. I just wanted to show I could fix things, you know?" "Next time, just let me know," Sarah urged. She picked up a wrench, her hands trembling slightly as the reality of the moment set in. They were not just fixing a leak, they were slowly mending the frayed stitches of their relationship. As they worked together, laughter and bickering filled the space, a rhythm that echoed the harmony they once shared. And with every shared moment, the heaviness in Sarah's heart lifted a little. For she realized no matter their past conflicts, they were still sisters, bound by a common history, and they both had the power to change it. After what felt like hours, they patched the leak. They stood, arms crossed, surveying their handiwork. A sense of accomplishment swelled between them, the air still thick but now laced with something lighter hope. "We actually did it," Sarah said, her voice filled with a mixture of disbelief and pride. "Yeah, we did," her sister smiled, a real smile that illuminated her face, breaking through the clouds of worry. But just as relief washed over Sarah, her phone buzzed again. The front-facing camera lit up Emily's smiling face. A sudden twist in her gut reminded her of the unfinished conversation, the thread that still connected her back at home. "Are you coming back soon?" Emily's words hovered in the air like a question she hadn't realized she still needed to answer, creating a palpable tension. I will," Sarah said, her heart pulling in two directions. The flood of joy with her sister was undeniable, but the commitment to Emily felt just as strong. What if she was missing something monumental? The moment became charged. The juxtaposition of the two situations and two lives collided within her, each asking for her attention, for her time. What ties would bind her when she was pulled in so many directions? As she stood in the threshold of her childhood home, she felt the weight of expectations and desires. Which path would she commit to now? The visible cracks in her familial ties were starting to mend, but what awaited her in the new life she was trying to build? The question loomed larger than ever, and she suddenly found her heart racing once more, the reality of her choices dawning on her. Would the joy she was rekindling here be enough to face the uncertainty waiting back home? The answer felt just out of reach, and they all hung in anticipation of the next move. The basement felt like a sanctuary and a battlefield all at once. Sarah took a few calming breaths, trying to silence the growing turmoil within her. She looked away from her phone, the glow of Emily's face fading in her mind, and chose to focus back on her sister. They had just finished a small victory against the leak, yet another challenge loomed on the horizon, one she had brought upon herself. "What's wrong?" Her sister's voice cut through her thoughts, genuine concern etched on her face. "Just everything," Sarah replied, biting her lip as silent tears clouded her vision. Emotion stirred, pushing against the dam she had built up. "I didn't expect to feel so torn between you and my life back home. It's confusing. It's okay to feel like this. It's a big deal." Her sister reached out, brushing her fingers against Sarah's arm, a small, comforting gesture. Memories surfaced, laughter and shared moments, the warmth of togetherness. Yet they were tinged with the regret of all the times they'd allowed distance to seep between them. Sarah could feel the weight of unspoken words hanging in the air, holding both of them hostage. "You know, I've missed this. Us," her sister admitted, her voice quivering with emotion. "I thought things would get better between us, that I could fix everything by myself." "You didn't have to carry it alone," Sarah replied softly. "We've carried burdens before, together." The realization stung, that they had both lived in silos made of assumptions, pride, and silence. As silence settled around them, Sarah's phone buzzed once more, piercing through the moment. It was Emily again, every ping a reminder of the life waiting for her, begging for her attention. Her heart sank. "Sarah, maybe you need to talk to her," her sister suggested, watching her with understanding eyes. "Maybe she just misses you." The thought sent a pang of guilt through her. "But what if," she started, unsure of how to finish the thought. What if you miss out? Or what if you're happiest right here? Her sister offered a knowing smile, as if glimpsing into Sarah's heart. They stood there, two sisters grappling with the fear of making the wrong choice. Each clung to their respective memories, their unresolved pain, the past holding them in a tight embrace. Can we take a moment first? Sarah whispered, her heart yearning for clarity. Of course. They settled into that stillness, the familiar air wrapping around them like an old, tattered blanket. The soft hum of the water leak that was now silenced was a stark reminder of the progress they had made. Just like they had shared laughs over tightening nuts and bolts, they fell back into old habits of exchanging glances, reliving memories without words. Suddenly, Sarah's phone buzzed again. This time it felt more urgent, pressing. She took a deep breath, preparing to face whichever mounting pressure awaited her. Okay, I need to see what this is about, she said reluctantly, as she picked up the device. Go ahead, her sister urged. We'll find each other after. With shaking hands, Sarah opened the message from Emily. Her heart raced as she read the words. The innocence of the text was lost amidst the complexity of thickening feelings. Everything okay? Her sister asked, concern threading through the air. I need to figure this out. Sarah's voice trembled, realizing the next steps in her life were unraveling before her eyes, each path tangled and demanding. As she stood at the intersection of her past and present, the stakes felt higher than ever. She could sense the potential of healing with her sister disappearing like the last light of day, while the distance from Emily loomed unnaturally large. What if her resolution changed everything? Would this be the moment she truly chose the direction of her life, or would she let it drift like the water that nearly submerged their childhood memories? The weight of this choice settled heavy on her shoulders, and she knew she could no longer wait to decide. What would she uncover in the depths of her own heart? With each breath, the answer felt tantalizingly close yet still so far away. With a deep breath, Sarah steadied herself, cradling the phone like it was a delicate piece of glass. As she stared at the screen, the message from Emily blurred into an indecipherable haze. She didn't want to make the wrong move, there was so much at stake. Hey, is everything all right? Her sister's voice pulled her back from the precipice of her thoughts. Sarah swallowed hard, trying to find her rhythm. It's just I'm caught, you know? Emily wants me back, but I feel this pull to stay. Each word felt like puncturing a balloon, releasing all the air crowded in her chest. Maybe your answer lies in the way you truly feel. Not about them, but about you, her sister offered gently, tilting her head slightly. The truth of her sister's words nudged something deep inside her. She thought of Emily's laughter, the way they shared dreams and ambitions. But she also thought of the warmth and safety she felt here, the laughter, the unconditional love that surrounded her like a snug blanket. Maybe I'm trying too hard to fit back into a mold that doesn't exist anymore, Sarah murmured, her voice softening. What if, her sister began slowly, you took a moment to think about who you want to be? What love feels like for you at this moment? It was a simple question, but it sent ripples through Sarah's heart. She closed her eyes and let the memories wash over her moments of joy with Emily, and those treasured years spent with her sister, spinning stories into the fabric of their lives. The contradictions tangled into clarity, she longed for connection, but not at the cost of losing who she was. With newfound determination, Sarah opened her eyes, the weight of indecision beginning to lift. I think I need to tell Emily the truth. Her sister's surprised expression quickly morphed into encouragement. Yes. Speak from your heart. Just remember, no one can make the decision for you, only you know what feels right. As Sarah nodded, a little spark ignited in her chest, propelling her forward. She exhaled slowly and, for the first time, embraced the uncertainty of her choice. She wasn't abandoning anyone, she was merely seeking authenticity. With trembling fingers, she began typing her response, carefully crafting each word. She could feel the thrum of her heart echoing in her ears, the weight of her choice becoming lighter as she poured her soul onto the screen. Meanwhile, her sister leaned closer, watching intently. Do you want me to read it before you send it? Sarah shook her head, a smile breaking through the tension. No. This is mine to express. It's time I had my voice. With each tap of the screen, her confidence grew. She could already feel the shifts within her, both profound and freeing. The old fears started to wane in the face of honesty like sunlight breaking through heavy clouds. I'm ready, she whispered to herself, a small ember of hope igniting in her heart. Before she hit send, she took a moment to breathe in the warm air thick with unfinished memories and the scent of damp earth from the basement floor. She was not just Sarah the sister, she was Sarah, the woman who was learning to balance love for two worlds. The screen flashed as she pressed send, her heart racing even faster. The results of that single moment were entirely unknown, but Sarah felt an exhilaration she hadn't felt in years. Done? Her sister asked, eyes sparkling with anticipation. Yeah, and now I wait, Sarah replied, suddenly aware of how much her heart thrummed with expectations and fears. As they lingered in the basement, time stretching like a rubber band, Sarah couldn't shake the anticipation that tinged the air. Each buzz from her phone felt like a tiny rocket sending her emotions careening in all different directions. What awaited her on the other side? Would Emily's response lead to healing, or would it reveal a deeper rift? Sarah shifted on her feet, feeling the weight of the moment shift once more, her sister's presence grounding her in this tumultuous sea of uncertainty. Little did she know, what would come next would challenge everything she believed about love, family, and her own identity. Would bravery lead to the connection she had always desired, or would it force her to confront an unresolved part of her past? Just moments had passed since Sarah pressed send, but it felt like eternity. Her sister fiddled with a loose thread on her shirt, every sound echoing loudly in the stillness. Sarah was acutely aware of the thoughts racing through her mind. Would Emily understand? Would she react like the person she once knew? Questions spiraled as she struggled to find focus, battling the gnawing anxiety in her stomach. A sudden vibration jolted her from her haze. The phone lit up, its screen glowing like a beacon in the dimly lit basement. With a swift motion, she snatched it up, hope and trepidation colliding in a rush. It was Emily. Heart pounding, Sarah opened the message. Her heart sank slightly as she read, "Hey, Sarah. I got your message. Can we talk? I need to process everything." There it was, a simple yet heavy request. No outright rejection, but no warm embrace either. Just a cold invitation to engage in what felt like a confrontation, a weighing of words. What did she say? Her sister asked, leaning in closer, eyes wide with concern. She wants to talk. She's processing it. Sarah's voice trailed off, frustration bubbling below the surface. It's so vague. Does she want to fix things or push me away? Her sister took a step back, considering. Maybe she needs time to really think it through. Sometimes, giving space is a sign of respect. But I thought that by being honest, I'd open the door to a deeper connection. Sarah pressed her hand against her forehead, feeling the heat rising. What if she doesn't want me to come back at all? What if I messed everything up? You haven't messed anything up, her sister reassured, though her tone lacked certainty. You told her how you feel. That's brave, and that's what matters. Sarah dropped her gaze to the phone, contemplating Emily's words. This could be the moment that broke her heart, or the launchpad for a new beginning. The fan whirred softly in the corner, a regular hum that somehow felt invasive now. How soon do you think she'll write back? She wondered out loud, her hands fidgeting with the edge of her shirt. Give it time, her sister replied. Sometimes, the silence before a storm is what we need to rediscover ourselves. They sat in silence, the weight of anticipation heavy in the air. Minutes bled into each other, stretching like elastic. Sarah's mind played various scenarios in and out, creating a collage of emotions ranging from hope to dread. Finally, the phone buzzed again, louder this time. Sarah jumped, her heart racing as she reached for it, practically trembling. The message read, "Okay. Let us talk tomorrow. I have a few things I want to share too." Tomorrow? There was a mix of relief and dread. A conversation, and the possibility was both thrilling and terrifying. The note of urgency in Emily's words weighed heavily on Sarah. What did Emily need to share? I guess we've got time, she said, glancing sideways at her sister, who nodded but looked unsure. As they sat together, Sarah could feel the temperature shifting. This was their chance to open up, not just about their shared memories but also the wounds that had lingered. The hope of fixing what had been broken settled somewhere between them, a fragile thread. But just as optimism began to unfurl, a doubt crept in. What if sharing brought up more than Sarah was ready to face? What if it forced her to reveal parts of herself she'd buried deep, and what if Emily wasn't ready to hear them? Hey, do you think there's a way to prepare for tomorrow? She asked, casting her gaze toward her sister for guidance. What kind of truths awaited her in that conversation? And would they alter the very fabric of their relationship forever? The night stretched on, filled with restless thoughts and anxious breaths. Sarah's sister, sensing the weight of the moment, slid down next to her, wrapping an arm around her shoulders. There was comfort in the familiarity of their shared silence, a refuge against the storm of uncertainty brewing within Sarah. What if Emily doesn't understand? Sarah murmured, her voice barely above a whisper. What if she thinks I've changed too much? Change isn't necessarily a bad thing, her sister replied softly. Maybe she'll see it as growth. You've grown, and so has she, just in different ways. Sarah sighed, feeling the tears prick at the corners of her eyes. She remembered the days when they were inseparable, laughing until their stomachs hurt, sharing secrets that nobody else knew. But the last few years had been riddled with misunderstandings and distance. How had it come to this? Do you think she'll forgive me for everything? Sarah asked, the words tumbling out before she could stop them. Her sister paused, choosing her words carefully. Forgiveness is tricky. It takes time and honesty. But I believe she loves you still. That counts for something, right? In the darkness, Sarah felt a flicker of hope amidst her worries. She needed to let Emily know how much she valued their relationship, how deeply she regretted the misunderstandings and the silence that had stretched between them like a chasm. I guess we'll just have to see, she said finally, her voice steadier now. Even as she spoke, Sarah's mind reeled with possibilities. How would the conversation unfold? What words would bridge the divide? An idea sparked in her mind, a small but powerful plan. I think I'll write down my thoughts tonight, she decided. Just to organize things a bit before we talk. I want to make sure I say what truly matters. Good idea, her sister encouraged. It might help you to clarify your feelings. With that, Sarah pulled her knees up and settled into her corner of the basement, the glow of her phone lighting up the dim space. She opened a new note, the screen glowing back at her like a promise. Each word became a step closer to that conversation tomorrow, and with each keystroke, her nerves began to settle. She penned heartfelt apologies for the past, expressing how much she missed their connection, how lonely the distance felt. Tears spilled onto her cheeks as each sentence captured her longing. But halfway through, she hesitated. Somewhere in the back of her mind, doubt slithered in again. What if Emily didn't reciprocate those feelings? What if Sarah's honesty only pushed her further away? Stop it, she muttered to herself, swiping the dampness from her cheeks. You have to believe this can work. The clock ticked slowly, each second heavy with anticipation. Just as she finished a sentence, her phone buzzed again, jolting her heart. A notification. A message? Nervously, Sarah glanced down. It was an alert from Emily, a confirmation for the meeting. The message was simple but unexpected. Can we meet at our favorite cafe? I want to share my own feelings, too. Fingers shaking with sudden realization, Sarah's heart raced. The cafe. Their spot where laughter used to spill like coffee. She thought back to all the moments shared there, the comfort of familiarity enveloping her. But now, the stakes felt higher than ever. Sarah took a breath, her heart pounding at the thought of the vulnerability that awaited. Here we go, she whispered to herself, contemplating the weight of their past and the unknown road ahead. What would Emily bring to the table? Would it soothe the wounds, or would it open old scars? The answering phone call echoed in her mind. What truly lay ahead for them? Only tomorrow would tell. Morning light filtered through the window, casting a warm golden hue in Sarah's room. The sun's rays danced across her face, pulling her back to reality. She blinked against the brightness, her heart quickening at the memory of the message from Emily. Today was the day, the moment she had been dreading and yearning for. With a mix of excitement and anxiety, Sarah jumped out of bed and threw open the closet doors. She rummaged through her clothes, looking for something that felt like it carried weight yet remained familiar. Something that wouldn't feel like a costume as she faced Emily. Just be yourself, her sister had reassured her late last night. Easy to say, hard to follow. Finally, she settled on a soft blue sweater that mirrored the one Emily wore the last time they met in person. It felt like a bridge to their past, a silent way of signaling that she remembered and cared. As Sarah made her way to the cafe, familiar streets passed in a blur. The cafe was a beacon of memories, their usual table in the corner, the barista who knew their names, the laughter that filled the air like steam from freshly brewed coffee. It had been too long since she felt that spark, since she embraced the easy connection with her sister's best friend. Arriving at the cafe, she hesitated at the door. Inside, customers chatted animatedly, and the smell of warm pastries teased her senses. But Emily wasn't there yet. Okay, just breathe, she whispered, taking a moment to gather her thoughts before stepping inside. The door swung open, the bell chiming like a welcoming tune, and she felt a mix of nerves surge through her. A table in the corner caught her eye, and she headed there, nervously fidgeting with her phone. Sat down, she fiddled with the note she'd been drafting last night but hadn't finalized. Should she read it over? Or speak straight from the heart? Moments stretched, feeling like eternities, until she heard the familiar voice. Sarah? Her breath caught in her throat. Emily stood there, a hesitant smile breaking across her face. They stood staring at each other for a beat that lingered longer than it should have, parsing through years of silence. Sarah's heart pounded, and in that instant, every emotion came rushing back: the love, the hurt, the fear of losing it all. Hey, Sarah finally managed, waving weakly, a poor imitation of their earlier selves. Emily sat down, the tension palpable as she aligned her coffee cup carefully before them. I got your note, she said, probing deeper into an intimate space that felt both safe and daunting. I've been thinking a lot about us, but before Sarah could respond, Emily continued, I thought, and I know things haven't been great, but I need to share my feelings, too. You deserve to hear what I've kept bottled up. The words poured out, each one an unraveling thread of the tapestry they once wove together with deep laughter and fierce loyalty. As Emily spoke, Sarah felt a tangle of emotions. Regret flooded her, but so did hope. Will you let me finish? Emily's voice cracked slightly, breaking past the wall that had held them apart. Every word became a window into Emily's heart, and Sarah realized this wasn't just a conversation. It was a reckoning, a chance for healing. But as Emily's truth spilled forth, Sarah caught sight of a shadow crossing the cafe window, a figure familiar yet unexpected. It was someone from their past, someone who could change everything. What if they're here? Sarah thought, anxiety washing over her as she grappled with both the promise and the potential intrusion. The moment felt electric, charged with possibilities. Would they have the courage to face not only their own fears but the old demons that lingered in the backdrop? What would happen if the past suddenly stepped back into their present? The shadow dimmed, but Sarah couldn't shake the feeling. A chill ran down her spine as she turned slightly to confirm her suspicions. Yes, it was Ryan, a figure they both once held dear, an old friend who had been a pillar in their shared memories yet shattered with the discord of time. Sarah, are you okay? Emily's voice sliced through her thoughts, bringing her focus back to the table. Yeah, Sarah fumbled. I thought I saw someone. Emily's expression darkened. Is it important? The weight of the past sat even heavier now. Memories of Ryan replayed like old reels in her mind, the laughter, the camaraderie, the eventual misunderstandings that tore them apart. But this moment with Emily felt too potent to let uncertainty cloud it. Let us deal with this after. Right now, it's just us, Sarah whispered, the urgency in her voice catching Emily's attention. Emily nodded, her determination rekindled. Okay. Then can I start? Sarah smiled, urging her to go ahead, eager yet nervous. Over the past few months, I've really reflected on everything: the miscommunication, the distance, the moments we lost, Emily began, her voice stronger and steadier. There were times I thought you'd never understand why I was so rigid. But it was because I was scared. Scared of losing the little things we once had, like our traditions and what it meant to share meals. Tears pricked at Sarah's eyelids. She felt a sudden rush of understanding wash over her. Emily wasn't just saying she wanted to bridge the gap, she was expressing vulnerability. I thought that without those structures, we might lose who we used to be, Emily continued, her voice cracking. But all I did was push you away. And for that, I'm so sorry. A breath hung between them, charged with unspoken words. Sarah reached across, her hand covering Emily's. I see that now. I understand your need for formality, it was your way of preserving connection. But I could never accept it. I missed out on your laughter and how we could just be ourselves. Emily's face softened, relief etching itself into the contours. Can we redefine our traditions together? As Sarah nodded fervently, a surge of excitement coursed through her. It felt like they were standing on the edge of everything they had yearned to reclaim. She squeezed Emily's hand tighter, ready to share her heart. Then I need to tell you something, too, Sarah said, her voice steadying. In finding myself these past months, I realized that while my family roots run deep, I need to honor where I stand now. I love our history, but I can't cling to it as an anchor anymore. Sarah, Emily started, but Sarah continued. No. Let me finish, Sarah interrupted gently. I want us to build a bridge. Let us take the best pieces of what we've both known and create something new together: writings, laughter, and yes, even those fancy table manners if you want. But let them evolve into a blend of who we are now. Emily's eyes glistened, the floodgates threatening to open. That sounds beautiful. A warm glow swept over them, the air crackling with fresh beginnings and shared aspirations. But before they could dive deeper, the door swung open, and in walked Ryan, an easy smile plastered on his face. The moment halted. Both women froze, caught between their past and what they were building. Hey, you two! Ryan called, waving the unease away, completely oblivious to the tension. But Sarah's heart raced. This was the moment of truth she had dreaded but hoped for. Emily's gaze flickered to Sarah, silently communicating a whirlwind of emotions. The past was rushing back in, complicating the fragile connection they were trying to forge. Ryan approached, standing beside their table, his presence looming large. Mind if I join? He asked, the innocence in his tone contrasting starkly with the unspoken tension. No. The word burst out of both women, their simultaneous outburst highlighting how far the walls had built up over the years. Caught off guard, Ryan's smile faded, confusion etched across his brow. Tough crowd, he joked lightly, but the sincerity of their tone simmered just below the surface. Actually, Sarah started, her voice trembling with resolve. There's something we need to talk about. About the past, and us. The cafe faded into silence, and the world around them blurred, as they stood at a crossroads. Would they allow the specter of their former friendships and connections to dictate their future? Could strength in person and presence lead them toward unity, or would it tear apart the fragile bond they were sewing back together? For Sarah, the moment crystallized into clarity. She glanced at Emily, who nodded, encouraging her to proceed. It was time to confront all that had divided them, to embrace everything that had brought them together, and to discover what it truly meant to love again. What I'm about to say matters to all of us, Sarah breathed, feeling the weight of history on her shoulders. And this is where healing begins. Hands trembling but fiercely alive with purpose, she opened her heart and drew strength from Emily beside her. The past echoed with urgency while the present blossomed with possibility. Today was the day everything could begin anew. And so, with a flicker of hope igniting within them, they faced what lay ahead, promising to navigate the complexities of their intertwined lives, armed with honesty, authenticity, and courage. If this heartfelt journey resonated with you, you need to subscribe now to catch more stories that explore love, family, and healing. Leave a like to fuel the algorithm and continue spreading these powerful narratives. Comment below with your thoughts on this dramatic ending and share your feelings about Sarah and Emily's transformation. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with 5 friends who will appreciate the journey of heart and truth. Let us build a community that understands the beauty of connection.